I just came back from watching the early screening of Wonder Woman, and that movie was straight up amazing. This movie has everything for everyone. It has humor, it has love, and it definitely has a lot of action. A friend, Ralph from Cinesports.com, went to watch him. He knew very little about Wonder Woman, and after he left the movie, he was really happy about the movie, and we were talking about it. But I wanted to go over with some of the things that I liked about it and give a quick review without any spoilers. What Patty Jenkins did really review was she was able to implement some political stuff where they went into like a Senate meeting and there was like boards for like military leaders and strategists. That grounded the movie a lot. The Justice League cartoons and the Superman cartoons, even Young Justice, did really well with that. So the political ramifications of what was going on in there. Like Superman always had to talk to people and address his powers and if he's doing the greater good. Same thing for the Justice League and Young Justice. And, Young Justice had to pretend to be the Justice League and Young Justice. So that went over really well. A movie that also did really well compared to this with the political aspects was The Winter Soldier. I think that was the second greatest comic book movie ever behind The Dark Knight. How they're similar is they deal with some of these political aspects, but Chris Pine carries Wonder Woman's acting in this. I really feel like he's the star of the movie, even though it's about Wonder Woman. His acting was that well. Even with Chris Evans being a really strong actor, he did a really good job in it. Black Widow I felt like she was taking away from Captain America, and Emily Van Camp's Sharon Carter in the movies. Chris Pine, man, I knew he was a good actor, but hats off. This guy did a great job. There was a lot of things that he did really well in this movie. The chemistry between Diana and Steve Trevor was done really well, where they had intimate moments together, where they had awkward moments together, where they had just had funny jargon back and forth, where she played fish out of the water really well, and Steve Trevor had to explain a lot of things to her. Did great in terms of the chemistry. When you watch it, you'll understand what I mean. Young Diana, super adorable. If you guys don't know, I have a 2-year-old daughter and an 8-month-old daughter. Just to watch Diana act the way she does as a child, where she just wants to jump into battle and she's jumping off of things and running around. Man, she's so cute. If DC can get behind the merchandising for a child Diana like they did with Baby Groot, that would be a really good thing right there. The fish out of the water aspect of Diana was the highlight of Gal Gadot's acting. A lot of people were saying that she was stale and she wasn't necessary in Batman vs. Superman. There was a lot of criticism about her. Fair enough, because she only came from the Fast and the Furious, a model. But she put in her work. If you look at her, she toned up. A lot of people said she was skinny, but she put in a lot of work. While her acting wasn't excellent, it was great. You could tell she's grown a lot since those Fast and Furious movies. There's this scene halfway through the movie where they're going through a war-torn city where innocent people are dying, like children and families and moms, and it's just nuts. And it paints this awesome backdrop in the city too, where you watch those old war epics where like it's happening in Germany and these buildings are getting destroyed. It was epic, this fight right here. But when she decides to be being Diana and being Wonder Woman at this point, where she crawls out of the ditch where everybody is, hunkering down from gunfire and mortars. It was an emotional moment where the music cued and she just ran across a field and she inspired people. She just ran across, and then when she ran through the city. Now, there's a character named Charlie in the movie. First meet him, you think he's just one of these Marvel throwaway characters where they're just funny for the sake of being funny and there's not a lot of depth to them and there's just a lot of wasted screen time. But there's this character named Charlie. It just seems like he didn't fit and he was just going to be one of these characters. But while they were sleeping in the camp, he's like screaming in the middle of the night because he has post-traumatic stress disorder, and Diana tries to comfort him and he just grabs his weapon and he just takes off into the woods. I was like, whoa, you don't see those characters fleshed out in Marvel. During the war, he's supposed to take the shot to help assist when there's a sniper, but he can't take it, so Diana eventually has to take care of it, and he inspires Charlie. What's awesome about this is I think it's a meta-commentary. Well, if you don't know what a meta-commentary means, it's something that deals with something outside of what is actually talked about. Wonder Woman is a golden age superhero where she is meant to deal with war conflicts because those were the stories selling well during the war, like World War I and World War II. They're meant to inspire hope and take people off the mind about serious stuff that goes on from day to day, a recessed economy, and all these things going on. So Charlie, after they get out of this battle, he's in a bar and he's just singing on the piano. And it was just this beautiful, touching moment. And Gal Gadot's acting with that as well also really enhanced that scene, and where you're really going to see her shine in that. So this meta commentary for the Golden Age Wonder Woman was a really nice fit. Now, if you want to look at things like Ant-Man, where he had Michael Pena, who is a really good actor, he played Lewis in Ant-Man, where he was just being silly. Like, there was no reason for him to be in the comic. And it just felt like, wow, like, here's some forced humor that you didn't need. You know, so props off to Patty Jenkins for being able to pull off those type of characters well. You know, I rolled my eyes when Charlie first came out, but by the end of it, I was like, wow, what a really fleshed out character. Now, the settings in the movie are done really well. You know, you have 3 different important settings here. Themyscira, which is really bright, and they set it up. And then there's this also flashback scene to set up the story, where, if you guys don't know, Zack Snyder is actually a paint major, and he understands paints really well. They illustrate these things in like a moving paint, and it's just gorgeous, and you could look at it for hours. So, and before I even saw this, I read a Superman Wonder Woman comic where Tony S. Daniel illustrated Themyscira in a way that is so gorgeous. The sky is the way, you know, it's colored in this picture, the sand, you know, the green vegetation. I always thought of this part, you know, but just for the way they illustrated Themyscira in the movie, it was a beautiful scene. It was a beautiful backdrop, where they really brought the world to life on many parts of the island, the beach, the hills, the parts in the city where people lived. So that was really good. The next part was London. It was dark and drab, and it was busy, and you saw them walking through bridges, going under famous landmarks. That worked really well too. You really had the feeling that they were there, and those cities were important to the story. And then you had them in Germany, where they're going through different parts of Germany. Especially when they're in the castle, it feels like those backgrounds are part of the story. And Patty Jenkins did really well with that. With the way Wonder Woman was done compared to the villain, they took the Marvel approach where they focused more on the hero instead of the villain. The villain did work out really well because he was very methodical. You understood what he did. There was nothing very blunt about him. Everything was done to where it was cerebral, and there was a lot of plan to it. And, you know, the main villain played the long game, which was awesome. Elena Anaya as Dr. Poison also acted very well. It reminded me of Tom Hardy's portrayal as Bane in The Dark Knight, where she acted a lot with her eyes. I was able to read her emotions when she had the mask on. So good job to that actress as well. Robin Wright plays Antio. Whenever she is on the screen, my goodness, she has great presence. The way she was written, her strength and her determination, her training for Diana traveled well into that. And you can see the growth with Diana and how the training worked with Antiope in that movie. So the actress, Robin Wright, who did that, also did a really good job. What makes the movie solid compared to the other DCEU movies is all of Diana's decisions and Steve Trevor's decisions were logical. They were acted rashly. You know, this is a young Diana Prince who's learning the way of the world. But her logic made sense to what a hero should be. You know, she's not an anti-hero, she's not moping, she's not sobbing, but she just embraces who she is. And then there's this one point halfway through the movie, and she embraced who she was, and she just knew she had to act on that. I actually got emotional, and I actually teared up. I was like, wow. I mean, the music cued. It was done really well. Some downsides to the movie was she broke a lot of windows. I don't know if there's a lot of repairmen for windows in Germany at the time, but Wonder Woman smashes like 4 windows. I was like, man, you know, you guys got to get somebody up in there to fix that. There was a lot of slow motion going on. They were gorgeous scenes, but after, you know, how Zack Snyder has done a lot of that, you just don't want to see a lot of slow motion scenes anymore. 1 or 2 was good, but they were really pushing a lot. There was a scene from a Justice League comic where Brian Hitch drew Wonder Woman throwing Thunderbolt down, and I was really hoping that this would show up in the movie, but it didn't, so I thought that was another opportunity lost. The movie had great pace. I just want to let you know, if you're waiting for end credits, don't stay for that, because there isn't any end credits, so save your time. But while I was waiting for it, I did notice when they're rolling to give people credits, it was actually really gorgeous. There was this like dark silhouette of everybody, and then it was moving in smoke, and the colors were really nice. Suicide Squad did something similar like that as well, where you could just look at the end credits because it was just a beautiful work of art. But that's my review right there. I'm going to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I will easily say this is the third best comic book movie ever, behind The Dark Knight and Civil War. So a 9.5 is a really good movie, and it's a good way to start off the summer blockbuster films. Well, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.